Hi, good morning. My name is Vivian Fong. I'm the Director of Human Resources at Very Special Arts. We're an international arts and disability organization, and this is our national office here in Washington, D.C. We actually have local chapters across the U.S. and also internationally. Today, I'm going to be interviewing a part-time student at Gallaudet for a part-time ASL instructor position. This is mainly for our staff here at the national office. Hi, Jeff. I'm Vivian Fong. I'm the Director of Human Resources. Thank you so much for being interested in our ASL instructor position. What I'd like to do is, we're still in the midst of trying to figure out the position, but if you could start out by giving us a sense. I see that you're bilingual in ASL and English. Can you give me a little bit of a sense of what you did as an ASL instructor assistant? And are these deaf students or hearing students? Great. So you have experience teaching ASL to a hearing audience, because that would be our situation. We have a couple deaf employees, but most people would be hearing staff. Great, great. And then in addition to that, I see you've also worked at the Martin Luther King Library, teaching adults. Can you tell me a little bit about that? How many people and how was that for you? how do you deal with students who catch on much faster, and how do you deal with different pace of learning? And were you prepping all the lessons and the preparations and materials for that class then, as the instructor? And give me a sense of what types of materials did you have to prepare, and what did the class get? Great. And can I assume that Martin Luther King you were teaching a class that had no exposure to ASL previously, is that correct? Great. Our staff would be sort of a combination. So I have somewhere between 25 to 40 people who are interested, and they're going to have all ranges. Some people know the basic alphabet, and that's all. Some people know about 20 other signs, and some people have had some loose ASL teaching, but not much. Great. Can you give me a sense of what would be ideal class size? Because what we may want is to do 2 classes, separate classes with smaller groups, because there's no assistant involved. What's the ideal number that you prefer that would be good working with? Perfect. I was thinking along the same lines also. So the other question is, what's ideal in terms of when you've taught other ASL classes before? Is it better once a week or twice a week? And is an hour and a half enough per day? Because ideally, I'd like to schedule it during work time, and the organization is willing to, provide, basically have people use work time to do this. Three hours a week may be tough on our staff just in terms of scheduling. It's going to be hard for them to commit. So I can just see people start missing classes, and I wouldn't want to. I want, the thing is, if we're going to invest in this, I want people who sign up to take the class seriously. I really want them to learn, so they have to promise that if they sign up, I want them to show up at every class. So I think twice per week is more realistic than 3 times a week. So maybe twice a week, 1.5 hours. And what can we set as expectations in terms of, is 1 year commitment to a class, 6 months? Or do you have them usually in sections like your Martin Luther King class? Is that a 6-month commitment, 3-month commitment? So should we have, can you plan a lesson plan for like a 6-month with a group, and then if people want to drop out, they can drop out, but they have to stick through to the first 6 months? I was just going to say, I think you'll get along well with our staff because we tend to have a very young group of staff. What do you enjoy most about being an ASL teacher in the past? I see. And on the flip side of that question, what's been most frustrating as an instructor? I see that you're not graduating until 2005, so if this works out well on both parties' side, if our staff feel like they're learning a lot and you're enjoying the teaching, what I'd like to do is continue as this on an every 6-month renewal, so you can get more and more advanced students, if that's okay with you. Great, great. Do you have any questions? Can I answer any questions in regards to culture, staff, any questions that I can answer for you about the position? Very Special Arts, it's an arts disability organization. What we do is we try to make the arts accessible to people with disabilities, all different types of disabilities, so physical as well as mental disabilities. And this is the national office, and we have state chapters across the country, and actually it's also an international organization, so it's also in, I think, 45 different countries internationally that have VSA chapters. We have about 100 staff here, all located in DC. And in terms of this class, again, I said it's a little bit in flux, but my estimate is somewhere between 25 to 45 people will sign up for the ASL class. So there's been a lot of interest shown in the class. Yeah, we would want to use our location so that we wouldn't have to rent additional space. So it would be a conference room or a large room somewhere in the building. Yes, somewhere along those lines. And our range that we don't have a specific, we don't have any other ASL instructors in the organization, so we were just trying to figure out approximately salary, and I was thinking along the lines of somewhere between $20 to $30, somewhere around 25. Does that sound reasonable to you? Yes, I was going to say that would include prep time. That's not a problem. And approximately how many hours of prep time to class, what would that ratio be approximately? So we have a sense of what to budget for the year. Okay. If I could ask you to submit sort of a proposal, a rough estimate, just so we have a range, you know, of what, if you could produce, if you could put together just a one-page quick outline of what are the things that you would hope to have somebody learn by the end of, how you would structure a 6-month course for 45 people, and an approximate budget of what that would be, I'd appreciate it. And I should be able to get back to you pretty quickly on this. And everything looks great. This is exactly what we were hoping to find, somebody with your type of background. And then if you could also include some references maybe from Mendocino of teachers, the teachers that you worked for at the school, and then also who you reported to at Martin Luther King. Great. But everything looks great. You've come highly recommended from people I know at Gallaudet, so it looks great. Great. Thank you.